In 1974, the fresh autumn air marked the advent of Halloween in a quiet suburban community in Deer Park, Texas. Families decorated their houses with eerie decor, children enthusiastically picked their costumes, and trick-or-treaters prepared for an evening of fun. Among these families was Ronald Clark O'Bryan, well known as the Candy Man. He shared a home with his wife, Damien, and their two children, Timothy, 8, and Elizabeth, 5. The O'Briens seemed to the outer world to be a regular, loving family. Ronald was an optician, a deacon at the Second Baptist Church, and a choir member. But there was a terrible truth lurking underneath this veneer. Ronald O'Bryan was drowning in debt, with a hopping $100,000 owed to him. He devised a horrific scheme to collect life insurance money because he was desperate and saw no other way out. His twisted plan would be carried out on Halloween night. As the sun began to set that fatal evening, Ronald brought his children, Timothy and Elizabeth, as well as a neighbor and their two children, out for a night of trick-or-treating. As they walked through the neighborhood, the air was filled with excitement and the rustle of leaves. When they arrived at a property where the owner did not answer the door, the night took a dark turn. Ronald remained behind, his nefarious scheme in action, while impatient youngsters hurried forward. Ronald eventually caught up with the group and handed them 5 Pixy Stix, candy straws loaded with powdered sweetness. He stated they were a present from the deceased homeowner. Nobody could have predicted that these seemingly harmless snacks would soon become tools of death. As the evening drew to a close, Ronald distributed the Pixy Stix, 1 to his daughter, 1 to Timothy, and 2 to the children of his neighbors. He presented the 5th Pixy Stix to a 10-year-old youngster from his church. Timothy was delighted to try his sweets when he got home. He went with the Pixy Stix. His face scrunched in anguish when he tasted the sweets. It was harsh and not as delicious as I had hoped. In a panic, Ronald offered his kid Kool-Aid to wash away the bad taste, but it was too late. Timothy's stomach ached, and he ran to the restroom, vomiting and convulsing. Ronald cradled his kid, but Timothy fell limp within minutes. He was taken to the hospital but died on the way. Fear and bewilderment gripped the whole neighborhood. Parents in Deer Park handed up their children's Halloween candy to police, fearful that it, too, was contaminated. Ronald became the target of suspicion, particularly when Timothy's autopsy showed that the Pixy Stix contained a deadly amount of potassium cyanide. 4 of the Pixy Stix Ronald claimed to have gotten had been tampered with, according to investigators. The top 2 inches were replaced with cyanide powder and stapled shut. It was a devious plot to conceal his wrongdoing. Ronald's financial problems became apparent when the authorities investigated the matter further. He had purchased $60,000 in life insurance coverage for his children. His motivation was becoming clear. He intended to profit from their deaths. Ronald was arrested in November 1974 for Timothy's murder, and the trial that followed captivated the country. The media called him the Candyman. During the trial, disturbing revelations were revealed. Witnesses testified to Ronald's odd interest in cyanide, and even his wife refuted him. Ronald, on the other hand, stuck to his innocence, inventing stories about Halloween candy poisoners. In the end, it only took a few minutes for a jury to convict Ronald O'Bryan of capital murder and condemn him to death. His wife sought for divorce, and his execution date was approaching. Ronald O'Bryan was killed by lethal injection on March 31, 1984. Some rejoiced as the throng gathered outside the jail, while others murmured, "Trick or treat." The Candyman's reign of terror was ended, but the frightening story of Halloween 1974 would linger on in the minds of those who saw it.